Tammy, oh Tammy, tell me you love me, but I know it's a lie, and I wonder why you don't love me anymore.
This is one thing I can say about America is that we have choice. Everything is not what it seems, but you do have the choice in your own mind and soul to make the decision to, be a part of this, be a part of that,
Well, you know what, as we discuss this, why is it that the little brother on the corner, sister on the corner, heavily scrutinized and penalized against when they sell drugs on the corner, but the ones that are bringing drugs into the country, they not harsh on them, and they basically don't do nothing about it until it's re-election time to make it look like they really concerned.
Well, that's another broad question, but I'm gonna answer to my best ability. I'm gonna say that the brothers on the corner, are misinformed. They haven't been, raised with the proper raising, and they haven't been showed real leadership or real leadership qualities within their home, because of division of the families. Most black families are being headed by a single black mother, and a lot of black males are either incarcerated or dead or, like I said, in jail. So with that being said, this is how you slowly and over time castrate and a family, and so it's like the disintegration of nuclear families. I got a study. It says according to Daniel Patrick Monahan report in 1965, nearly 25% of black children were born to unwed mothers. Today the out of wedlock birth rates is nearly 75%, and even higher in some urban areas. This goes along with progressive policies that enable like subsidy for housing for the black woman. In certain policies, if a black male is incarcerated, how he's not able to, come and live with, his woman or his wife or even his baby mother if they have a family together. So this keeps the black man out of the house, even though they say it's trickles of that change, and it still hasn't completely changed.
You made me think about the movie Claudine, this old movie called Claudine, but go ahead.
Yeah, but we as minorities, we also, like I said, have to be smarter, and we shouldn't play victimization in the things that we should be aware of. We should be knowledgeable of it. And what I mean by victimization is we shouldn't see ourselves as victims all the time, because the victim takes no responsibility or accountability for their past or current situation. Although we know that there's been a history of slavery and racism, there's things that we can do as individuals. We just have to seek those things.
But when something I'm always also asking you is, why isn't the federal government as hard as on the government entities bringing drugs into the community opposed to the little brother or sister that's on the corner? That's what I'm...
Because it's politics. It's politics.
Politics.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's really they're not that. This. Look at how this country was taken over. So I mean, it's been a replica. We have just lived through different paradigm shifts. It's been a replication of that. In many different forms that's going on as we go further into this millennium and so forth. So it's gonna take not just one person. It's not just gonna take a few good people within minority cultures to make that change, it's going to take something greater, you know, to bring not just awareness, but to completely change the momentum of where we're going.
You know, one more question. You know what President Reagan, he did a campaign that says say no to drugs. And you get, you know, and 3 strikes you're out. I think he came up with it. I gotta look that up. But why is it that they wanted to give an individual more time for doing crack, but when it came to cocaine that is used by the affluent, they got a slap on the hand, and opioids,
Right.
they wasn't concerned about people in the inner community using drugs, but when when European people started using opioids, they say we need a program. Can you answer that? Because you're a counselor.
Yeah, well, my take on that is, you know, that's a form of targeted racism wrapped up in laws and policies, and it's barriers, you know, because they knew that blacks at that time, as well as whites, as well as the world, was using, you know, these opioids and this cocaine. But when, you know, when the word got out that blacks were using a household product with it, that's what helped to change cocaine to crack cocaine, which is, I think, from what I've learned growing up in the neighborhood, was I think baking soda, a household product they use. It didn't modify it. It still is the same substance. That's what made them say, okay, because it was crack cocaine was being sold in the minority neighborhoods versus regular cocaine was being sold in the you know, white neighborhoods. So, you know, we're gonna set policies up that's gonna, you know, create larger barriers for the blacks and the minorities alike, versus the whites get slaps on the wrist. You know, with that being said, you know, it's just another form of racism. Another, you know, but, you know, like I said, to be aware is better than just being alive. You know, so we've came a long way from that, even though that brothers today are still suffering, you know, are incarcerated from those laws and standards that they set. You know, it's a new day, and, you know, knowledge is power. So
Okay. Now I want to get to Donald Trump and immigration and other subject matter. You know, what are your feelings about U.S. President Donald Trump? And then I'm going to move on to immigration, just so the audience can know what your feelings are.
Donald Trump is Donald Trump. I personally don't know the man, so I don't hate anyone or, you know, dislike anyone. Do I agree with his perception?
His policies.
Do I agree even with his policies? You know, even when there were policies, you know, for me to be, I'm not a political politically moved person anyway. I don't really associate myself. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't dib and dabble as far as when it comes to information about politics, but I don't get emotionally moved by it, because I know that.
Wait a minute, you wasn't moved when Obama became president?
Well, I was happy.
Wait a minute.
I was happy that we had a black face, but it's what reason. Here's why I say what I say. Yeah, Obama was the first black president, but we still got a much further way to go. I was happy, but, you know,
I was just asking it because you said you are moved by politics, and I had to kind of play the devil's advocate.
Right.
But,
I wasn't, you know, out my body. I mean, I was happy, you know, that to finally see in my lifetime that we're having a black president. But still, there's so much that needs to be done. You know, I don't put my faith into politics. That's basically what I'm saying. No man can change, you know, the mentality or the spirituality of people, of how they think, how their hearts are, and sometimes we put too much on what one person, whether a man or woman, and our expectations can do, or what they should be able to do. And so, and a lot of times we get let down. So, that's kind of, for me, I can't speak for the masses, but for me, yeah, I voted, when Barack Obama, I voted, did I vote this election? When I didn't vote for Trump, I'll just say that, but it doesn't mean that I don't, I hate the guy or don't like the guy. I don't know him.
I was more or less talking about his policies. That's what I was. That's more or less what I was should have said.
Yeah.
I did a poor job as an interviewer, I guess, because I didn't convey the message. Okay.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
I don't agree with all his policies, but his policies is his policies. What can I do? Because they got to go through the Senate and the House of Representatives. Once he signed a policy, it takes about I think 2 to 3 to almost 4 years for certain policies to pass, and then we gotta, even if a new president comes in, we gotta, wait for them to veto it or however it may go. My thing is, no, I don't agree with all of his policies. About immigration. About him, how these young people or young families are being separated.
You don't think he wants to make America great again?
I don't think he has the power to make America great again.
I'm just talking.
No. I'm just responding. I'm saying that I really don't think America is what America is. Just like any other country.
Some suggest that he wants to. When I'm being kind of litigious, but some say by making America great again, he wants to turn the hand of the clock back. So, what's your opinion? I'm talking about in terms of the policy, like abortion. Okay, yeah. I said Brown versus Wade. So, go ahead.
Okay, speak more. When you say abortion, what about abortion?
Okay, I think he's pro-life. And he is pro-life. Mm-hmm. He probably will end up appointing a Supreme Court judge, which will make the highest court in the land, that will make the law for the lands for about 45 years, almost the next generation. That will affect, even though we don't care about politics, it will impact your life one way or the other.
Right, ooh. Exactly. I'm for, when babies being born. I support life. Mm-hmm. Whether, you were young, I feel that, the key to life is reproducing. Mm-hmm. So, anyone against that, I would think that, just in my opinion, I think that, they have their perception doesn't match mine.
You and Donald Trump stand toe and toe together, and millions of others.
Yeah, when it comes to that, I believe in life, because I believe in that being a blessing.
Lifestyle said conception. That's what actually, some people believe that, some people don't. But you know what about immigration? I would like to ask you something. Mm-hmm. If I came into your house without your permission, mm-hmm. would you be happy about that? Now I'm leading to something else.
Okay, so you asked it. That's like an open-ended question to me. So, if you was to, in today's time, and me being the man that I am, I'm a God-fearing man, and so a person that, I know you, mm-hmm. so I would think that something was wrong. Okay. If that you entered. But now if you're a person, that I don't know, and you enter my home, I would probably prepare to defend myself.
Okay.
And not to come off as a violent person, but that person will have to state their place and reason instantly of why they're entering my home. Okay. If they don't do it within 10 seconds, the first 10 seconds, then I would be probably forced to defend myself.
Well, I'm asking you the question that I put it on a micro level. Now I'm going to put it on a macro level about immigration. Now, by you saying that about your home, do you think it's okay for an individual to enter the United States of America without a passport if they have no rights whatsoever to be over here? Just like you wouldn't want somebody to enter your home without going through the proper protocol.
Well, my home, to me, that question is, I see the comparison that you're trying to use, but I would say that it's still a difference.
Okay.
And the difference is my home is private.
Okay.
This land that we live on, God has made it for all mankind. This land that we live on, God has made it for all of mankind to walk on the earth. You know, the only ownership goes to Him. No man owns this land, really. But, you know, because of man laws, and you know, it states that, you know, because truly be told, before this country was called America, you know, the Native Americans, the Native Indians was over here, along with Mexicans, you know, along with, you know, other tribes that were over here already. And so when, you know, Christopher Columbus, which you know this story, came over, and they, you know, tricked those people and took this land and, you know, gained the people's trust within this land, you know, and, you know.
Let me rephrase the question.
Okay.
Okay. Can you leave the United States and go into Europe or go into Africa without a passport?
No, I cannot. I need a passport.
Okay. And so if you go into Europe or going to Africa without a passport and you live there unbeknown to them and they find out, are there going to be consequences for your actions?
I believe so. Even though I've never went, I believe so, of course.
So, is Donald Trump right or wrong by saying, you know what, you have to follow the proper protocol or the proper steps
of course,
to get in, and you just can't, you know, gangster your way in or sneak in? Just like I can't sneak into your house, or I can't sneak into Europe and stay there for 10 years.
I agree.
You understand? Okay.
I agree. I agree. No, I'm saying I'm not, brother. You hitting, you know, I love it when you specific on your questions, because that comparison, it was a good, but it wasn't compatible to what the home. But I understand once you broke it down, I understood more where you were going. Of course, with the chaotic and the menacing actions of people and the terrorism that's going on and the hatred, you know, that's stemming from all places. Of course, we need to. That's the only way we're operating today in all different, not just America, like you just made the comparison, Europe, Africa, you know. So we need those proper protocols, you know, so the wrong person don't come here and blow up certain parts of you know, innocent people. You know. So
what I mean, for people that this will be on YouTube, and then it goes to a global audience, I can't say how many people are going to see it. What would you say to the people that are contemplating sneaking in, being, you know, using someone to smuggle them in the United States of America and not following the proper protocol? What would you say to that? And the people that are in desperation that are attempting to get here?
What would I say?
Can you send a message to them?
You know, like, like I said, I'm not into. I would rather not send a message, because it's more so like, you know, I don't know what a person's individual situation is. Some of these third world countries that some of these people or immigrants are coming from, they have dire situations, and they could be at war in the countries that they're coming from. And so some of those people may be trying to escape. So I don't want to put everybody into one melting pot and look at and judge all situations as being the same. See, so I think.
So are you in essence saying it would be okay for them to violate the law then?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they need to set up a system where they can analyze, if they know we got people coming through the borders, they need to have a special team to apprehend some of those people.
Border Patrol.
Exactly. And that'll kill a lot of, because I don't want to use my assumption of another person or what I think their reasons for coming. Because culturally, I don't know where they're coming from in their life. I don't know what's going on with them. And like I said, I'm a passionate person. I believe in helping people. So, like I said, you can have all type of things going on. Some of these people could be running from life-threatening situations. Not all are just coming.
No, wait a minute. You don't want to say that, but then you're saying that people should follow the proper protocols. So, as an interviewer, I'm trying to decipher the information.
So I'm basically saying this. I can't say one size fit all.
Okay.
If that holds any weight, I can't say for all people because everybody's situation is uniquely different. You have more than one culture of people that's trying to enter America, and they're coming from different historical backgrounds. So with that being said, I don't want to say, I'm not saying that it's okay for them to come here. I'm saying the border patrols need to be put in place to apprehend and meet those standards where they can, ask the proper questions and find out, and this should be able to give them the certain measurement of if they're liable once they get a history, because they know more. Border Patrol should know more, whether it's the National Guard, whoever. They should know more about, where these people are coming from. When I'm a local citizen, so my information comes from media, from what I read, unless I'm a person that's traveling, into other countries, and I think that's a lot of the reason why we do not understand different cultures as well that come over here sometimes, because we love America so much that to where a lot of us, we got everything we need. We won't travel into other countries to even find out firsthand where this person is a human being, what they know, where they're coming from, how they see life, so, if it's a crime for feeling that way,
And something, President Trump appears to be an isolationist. And would you say that he's wrong when he says, I'm going to put America first before other countries?
As a president, I think he's saying the politically correct thing to say. We're not speaking as a man and what his value should be. He's acting in a title. So like I said, even though it may sound like like I said, I don't know President Trump, so I'm not against him. And it's not that I don't like him. I don't like some of the policies that he...
What's some of the policies you don't like?
How he was speaking in terms of creating a wall, that's going to cut off, the borders of, was it Mexico?
Did you know that Guatemala has a wall? Guatemala has a wall. So what do you suggest then if you have a border and people are sneaking in and all type of, what do you suggest? How do you suggest you stop them there?
What I suggest is America makes a lot of money. And we pour money into what we tend to have as our focus, whatever it is that we're focusing on as being important. So with that being said, when we spoke about border patrols, we have people, in the armed forces, we have, military, I believe that we have enough money and we have enough resources to be able to come up with the system and put a system in play to where, you can help, you can analyze these people, or not, that's the wrong word, analyze, but more so talk with these people, these individuals that's trying to come over to this country. So I didn't know what the interview was going to be about in specifics until I actually met with my brother Clifton but I enjoyed the interview, and so I just wanted to say, you know, I think as people, there's always a solution. Don't always look at being a victim as being a victim. For number one, because victims see themselves as victims, and that like hinders the progress of perseverance and being able to, obtain goals that you've set for yourself. I think we need to have more diversity. And when it comes, I thought this was probably going to be an interview more about black African Americans, but we spoke globally, and that was interesting too. So I would say that on a global aspect, I think not just blacks, I think people need to be more engaging with each other, to be more informed and not just let media tell them what it is, what the truth is, because you have a more hands-on perception about who's in front of you, what this other culture that you don't know anything about is actually like. Informed, not having the proper training in the households. When I say that, I'm speaking mostly about minorities. You have some, outside of the minority culture that's facing that. But I would just say that I think we need to have more two-headed family household members. Not just the mother, but the father as well. And I think the healing starts with forgiving. And you don't forget that, but we need to learn how to forgive and move forward, and focus more on forgiving and moving forward than, holding something, hatred dear to your heart, So with that being said, keep God in front of you.
I got one more question. I always got questions. One more question. But behind each man, there's a woman. Can you tell me how your wife has inspired you and helped you? And that'll be my last question.
Well, my wife has inspired me and helped me by standing at my side. And she compliments me because the things that I don't know how to do, she knows how to do. And I compliment her. The things that she doesn't know how to do, I know how to do. And so that makes us a good match. And I would say that our longevity of being together and being resilient through these testing times. We've been together for 27 years. We've been married 7 years out of the 27. A lot of people say, well, why you only got married at the end? I say, well, I've been with her since I was 18 years old, though. And of course, we had our struggles, but we stuck it out, and we still.
Tammy, your kiss has grown cold, and there's ice in your smile, and I wonder why